Mm, New day. Mm, New day, new way. Turn it up, leaning 15 minutes. Let the change begin. Busy life, big dreams, so much noise in your ears. We cut straight through, make the next step clear. Thought for Thursday, real talk, real tools right now. In 15 we move the dial, simple steps, strong moves, you'll see how. Thought for Thursday, clarity that sticks, you'll feel it from insight to action. And impact that stays. Thought for Thursday, let's change a day.
Hello. Not sure where I went just then, but anyway, welcome. Happy to have you here on Thought for Thursday. We are just a slight bit late, but we are here nonetheless, and I'm happy to be here with you. Welcome again, just as I've said. Thought for Thursday is the portion of Leveling Up the podcast that we bring to you on Thursday evenings for all of 15 minutes. We come to you and we tackle a topic that we know is important to you. We tackle a topic that we know may show some pain points for you. And before we're finished, when you leave, after those 15 minutes, you're going to have 5 tools that you can use to get on the other side of whatever that dilemma, whatever that problem, whatever that thing is that we have decided to tackle tonight that resonates with you. All right? So, again, welcome. I'm happy to have you here. I teased a bit when we talked about this episode, and I told you that I was going to be talking about clarity and confidence, and it's based on something that I learned over the weekend while attending the LOSD conference at Harvard University. During the conference, there was a pitch competition, and investors were allowed to hear from those who had products, who had services, who had businesses that they wanted to expand, that they wanted to grow. And these people were looking for capital in order to grow that. So, much like you would do a Shark Tank, it was something like that. And what mesmerized me, and if you read or saw my weekly newsletter, you know that I talked about this a bit, is what I saw from those people. They knew their product in and out. They had um, absolutely no thought about. They had thought of everything. They thought about what they had thus far. They thought about where they wanted to go and the resources they needed in order to grow and what the potential was and how things were looking on the market for their topic and what it is that they had established already. They had statistics for the growth that they had achieved and statistics for the growth that they could achieve if they got the backing. They were able to present their product, they were able to present their pitch, and they were able to do it confidently because they were clear on what it is that they were seeking. They were clear on what it was that they were looking to get the backing for. So, as we start out tonight, I want to start with a question to you. What are you waiting on, all right? Or what are you waiting to feel before you move? Confident enough to raise your hand for the promotion or confident enough to start the business. Confident enough to say the hard thing out loud, to reinvent your life. Maybe you have told yourself, you'll apply for something once you feel more like it is you who's doing it, or more once you feel more like yourself. I've heard people say that, well, I'm not really me right now. I'm going to wait until I feel a little more like myself. All right. Maybe you're on the edge of a decision and you're waiting for that feeling to kind of just show up first before you can make that move. And I want to tell you what I recently watched happen before me um, really is going to change the order that you've kind of been doing things, I hope at least. I mentioned last week how many of us are waiting for permission slips to do what it is that we want to do when we really need to sign our own permission slip and give ourselves permission to do it and stop looking to others. We're no longer, children where we have to get our parents' permission or someone else's permission to do something. We are the ones who give ourselves the permission. But what we frequently do is we kind of tell ourselves, caution or patience or something of that nature, and maybe we need to be a little more perfect in what it is that we do. But underneath, it's often kind of fear that's wearing that disguise, right? And here's the hard part for a lot of us, that feeling never fully arrives because we're not ready, because we've kind of got things backwards and we don't have them in order. So, what I saw from these people, speaking of order, they were confident, all right, because they were clear. And that's what I want us to understand and to grasp the night tonight. They gave all the strong reasons why the investors should bet on them. And the one who stood out the loudest and the one who was most polished is the one who was absolutely clear, had done all the research, had found all the information, had been working and had done trials and errors and found what worked and found what didn't work. So that when they went to present themselves, they were clear. So we've been taught that the confidence that we have is a feeling that you build up before you act. But confidence really isn't the starting point, it's the byproduct. It's what clarity sounds like once you've said it out loud. So when you know exactly what it is that you need, exactly what you've done, and exactly, what you're asking for, you don't have to kind of manufacture confidence. You're confident because you know, right? It shows up kind of on its own, and it's because you're not really guessing anymore. You are the founder who has found the information. You are able to manage your nerves because you know what you know. Now, you may be nervous for other reasons, but it's not because you don't know your product. You don't know what you need. It's not because you're not clear. And clarity doesn't require a degree, doesn't require a title or permission from anybody. It really just requires you to sit down and get honest about what you actually know to be true. So, for those of you who aren't confident, I want you to consider the fact, is it really that? Why is it that you're not confident? Is it because you're not clear? And if that's the case, understand that clarity precedes that confidence, and you're able to be so confident when you're clear on the direction that you want to go. So let's make this practical. I want to give you some information. So grab yourself a journal, grab yourself some paper. I need you to write for this one because the first tool is an exercise that I want you to do with me right now. All right. So the first tool is a clarity audit. And I know we've talked clarity before, but this is why I want you to understand, or what I want you to understand. You can't walk into a room, real or metaphorical, and ask for something vague and expect people or yourself to bet on you. All right. How to use it. All right. What I want you to do right now is to take your journal right now and write down three answers. All right. One, what do I actually need to get to my next level? Not more confidence or more support, a specific thing. What is it that I need? I need to be clear on the requirements I need to do this job. I need to be clear on the resources I need to do this job. A dollar amount, a skill, a conversation, a decision. Okay. Two, what evidence do you have, okay, that you can perform at this next level? Now, you've heard me in talking about confidence, and combating those negative naysayers that kind of like to hang on your earlobe and get right in your ear, those voices that are telling you you can't do something. You've heard of me talking about combating those voices with giving it evidence of what you can do. All right. So, what I want you to do right now is think about some evidence that you have that you can perform at the next level. Write that down. The next thing, what is the one ask that you would make if someone offered to invest in you today? What would you ask them for? And instead of writing, I need to feel ready to start my business, right? I need $3,000 for certification and one client testimonial before I launch. That's clarity. That's what moves you. So again, write those things down. We did this first tool together. One, what do you actually need to get to the next level? All right. What evidence do you already have that you can perform at that level? And then what is the one ask that you would make if someone were to invest in you today? All right. Let's go on to the second one because I know that we have 15 minutes. All right. The one ask. We've talked about that just a little bit, but vague requests kind of get vague responses, and I want you to understand that. So specific requests really do get your real response, right? So what I want you to do is before any meeting, any negotiation that you go to, or any hard conversation that you have, reduce what it is that you want to one clear sentence. For example, instead of I want more responsibility at work, say, I want to lead the Quarter 4 project, or I want to make sure that we start a new project. And here is why I believe that. This is what you're doing when you are making that one ask. You want to be clear on what it is that you need. All right? Present it in that way. All right, let's step back just a second because there's one I did want to talk about before that, and that's the metrics file. What's the metrics file? Well, a founder of any organization, thinking back to over the weekend, they could speak, with certainty because they had their data on hand, right? They weren't guessing about the progress. So what you need to do is to start keeping an ongoing file of your own wins, your results, and your feedback, so that when the moment comes to speak for yourself, you're not searching under pressure. You've got it in your memory. For example, every Sunday, write down one thing you did well that week, and even something small like handling a hard conversation calmly. It's not big, earth-shattering things that we're looking for here. Remember, we are seeking clarity so that we can grow, and growth often happens in small increments. They don't often happen. We don't eat the entire elephant in one bite, right? All right, so we've talked about the clarity audit. We've talked about the metrics file. We talked about the one ask. What's something else? What about move before you feel ready? Now, what am I talking about when I say that? Why? Now, confidence is generated by action, not by waiting. So you build it by doing the thing. You don't do it by settling or by feeling settled before you do it. So, what I want you to do is pick the smallest next step that you can take toward what you want and take it now. Take it today before the feeling of readiness shows up, before everything in the boxes are checked. Take that small step. Send the email, submit the application, book the consultation. Do it today, not once you feel brave enough to do it. And what's the last thing? I want you to look at things through the investor lens. What am I saying when I say that? Look at yourself the way an investor would force you, or the way an investor would. When you do that, it kind of forces you to move from that area of being vague Move from that area of vague hope into really an honest evaluation. So ask yourself, if you were deciding whether to invest your own time and money in you right now, all right, what would you need to say? Yes, all right. If you were deciding whether to invest your time and your money in me, in you right now, what is it that you would need to say? Yes. Think about it. Then go build that evidence. All right. One piece at a time. Remember, small bites, small steps will still take you on the journey. It will still get you there. So, for example, if consistency is what would convince you to bet on someone else, then start there. Show up consistently for 30 days and track it. All right. So, five things, five tools that are going to help you in that area of clarity. Five real things that you can do to move and to get you going so that you stop waiting. All right. That you are clear on where it is you can go. So that when you start to move and you understand and you start presenting what it is that you need, there's no question. You're confident and you don't have a problem stepping out there. So, what I want you to walk away with is you don't need to feel confident to take your next step. You need that clarity. You need to get clear. It's something you can build even starting today, right now. Pen, piece of paper, regardless of how you feel. Confidence isn't the price of admission, all right, for reinvention. It's the receipt you get after you've done the work of getting clear and taking the step anyway. So stop getting ready to get ready. Stop waiting to feel ready. Go ahead and get clear instead and let the confidence catch up to you on the way. All right? And listen, we're still doing the identity shift method. All of this actually takes into account the clarity that's needed to get you to the next level. We see the clear steps. We even have solutions and tools for you when you get in that unclear step, when you step into that gap that I referred to in the identity shift model. If you want more information on that, we're getting started real soon. Make sure that you go here. Find out more. Find out the details. And let's have a conversation, because I know that the method works and I know the success. And not just with individuals, but with organizations, and helping you to get from the point of recognition to rebuilding, to reorganizing, to releasing, and to rising. It can work. Go out and be yourself, authentically you. You're the best version of you out there. Go out and show it, touch something, make a difference in what it is that you do. We need the difference that only you can make. Make sure that you're growing in what you do. Make sure that you understand your worth and your value, because it is there. It is there despite what the little naysaying voices may be trying to tell you. You are a person of great value. You are fearfully and wonderfully made. I want you to always understand that. Make sure that you go out being yourself. Like I said, you're the best version of you that is out there. Take care of yourself in this world where so much is going on, and it's so easy to get lost and kind of lose our way. Make sure that you do all that you can to be your best self, and make sure until we see each other again that you do what's necessary to stay, to be, and always focus on being well.
New day, new way, turn it up, leaning 15 minutes, let the change begin. Busy life, big dreams, so much noise in your ears. We cut straight through, make the next step clear. Thought for Thursday, real talk, real tools right now. In 15 we move the dial, simple steps, strong moves, you'll see how. Thought for Thursday, clarity that sticks, you'll feel it from insight to action. Impact Thursday, let's change a day.